Hi, second grade. Today we are going to be looking at perimeter. So, perimeter is the distance around the outside of a shape, okay? Now, the way that you can find the perimeter of a shape or an object is by adding together the length of all the sides. Did you hear that word that I said? I said length. That means that I am going to be measuring each side, okay? And if I'm going to be measuring, I can use a ruler or a tape measure. Let's look at this first example. I have a rectangle, and I have been given two lengths. I see that the length of this side right here is 13 centimeters. We are measuring with centimeters. And I see that the length for this short side right here is 5 centimeters, okay? I need to try to figure out what the length of this side down here is and what the length of this short side right here is. Okay, well, if I know that this top length is 13 centimeters, I see that it's exactly the same as this bottom one here. So that one is also 13 centimeters. Now, if I see that this short side right here measures 5 centimeters, and I see that this side here looks exactly the same, how much do you think this one measures? What is the length of this side? Yeah, it's 5 centimeters also. Okay, so now that I know how much each side measures or how long each side is, I can now add all those sides together. So I will add 13 plus 5 plus 13 plus 5 again. Okay? Now I have to add 13 two times because I've got this side right up here and then I've got this one right down here. And I have to add 5 two times because I have 5 centimeters right here and I have 5 centimeters on this side as well. So if you want to try to figure out what 13 plus 5 plus 13 plus 5 is, pause the video for a moment so that you can add those numbers together. Okay, 13 plus 5 plus 13 plus 5 equals 36 centimeters. Now you always have to remember, add the unit at the end so we know what you are using, because we are not saying 36 puppies or 36 ice creams. No, we're saying 36 centimeters. Okay, let's look at this next one. We have a trapezoid, and they don't give me any of the measurements. And another thing that I noticed, not all of the sides are equal. Do you see how this one down here is a lot longer than this one up here? I do notice, however, that these two sides are equal. So, if you have not been given the length, you can just use a ruler. And I'm going to go ahead and measure in centimeters still, okay? So, what does each side measure? Well, you can use a ruler with centimeters, which is what I just said. So the first side, I'm going to measure the top right here. And I see that it is about 7.5 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. And I'm going to measure this side. And I see that it is about 9.5 centimeters. So I will go ahead and put that right there. Then I see that the bottom length, that one's longer. It is about 11.5 centimeters, so I'll put that right there. And then I will measure my last side. But I already know that this side is the same length as this first side. So I've got 7.5, 9.5, 11.5, and 9.5 centimeters. So what are we going to do with all those numbers? We are going to add them together to find the perimeter. So to make it a little bit easier, you can just go ahead and add the first numbers. So leave the halves for later. So I went ahead and did 7 plus 9 plus 11 plus 9 because it just makes it a little bit easier to add. Let's move it to another page so you have more space to work. So you can pause the video again if you want to try to figure out the answer to this problem. Okay, 7 plus 9 plus 11 plus 9 equals 36 centimeters. Don't forget, we are talking about centimeters. Okay, now don't forget those halves that we had. We had 4 halves that we needed to add. Half plus half plus half plus half. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's do half plus half equals 1 whole. Okay, now let's add these two. Half plus half equals, you just said it, 1 whole. Okay, so now I know what I have to do up here. I take this one, 36 plus 1 is 37. Then I need to add this one. 37 plus 1 is 38 centimeters. Okay? Now, I want you to turn to page 216 in your math journal. You are going to need a ruler. However, on this page, they are asking you for both centimeters and inches. Okay, so try to do that page by yourself or with your parents. It's fine. I will say though, you do not need to do numbers 1 and 2. All I want you to do is numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Alrighty, bye friends.